Hey, hello. The voice is gone. Hey, very good morning to you all, traders. How are you? Let me try some of these. Weekend was long, and the voice is gone, but we're gonna try to do our live anyways. Okay. So, what has the gold done for the past 24 hours since Friday? Let's have a look. Just organizing one little thing here. One thing that we cannot forget, welcome to the trading cage. This is where we beat the gold, okay? Um, my throat's not that good. I even thought about of maybe skipping today's lives, but I'm gonna try to make it. Let me clear all these studies, and then we'll start on it fresh. So yesterday we had the live for the opening of the Asian market together with our students, and I told them that according to the daily chart, the gold was actually going up due to it had already confirmed a pullback to the highs here on candle 61. So when you grab this maximum high and this low here from candle 58, you can actually see that candle 61 closed above 50%, confirming the pullback um, for candle 62 to come back up. So yesterday we waited for this correction here, okay? So the market corrected. After it came here to test below this 50%, couldn't continue on its way down, so it came back up. It hasn't paid the target yet. Target is the highest point of candle 59. But at the moment, we are still waiting for the market to go, okay? So what we're looking for is the final target is basically this one, which is 4600. Okay. The Let's put a couple lines here. So we have basically this is the resistance that we are at the moment. Okay. So we have got this trigger candle here holding this price at the moment. Um, we also have support for this price is in the region of these 50% and minimums of maximum high of candle 58. Okay, that's also a support point for this price, so we're gonna mark it for you there. So we're gonna mark that one, that support. So you know that the price is working in between support to the left and resistance on top. If it does break through this trigger candle, the next resistance point that we're gonna get will be minimums of candle 26. So that's our next resistance for the price, okay? But price is going quite well, worked quite well throughout the night. We just have to wait to see if it's gonna keep on going on its way up because it did break through the maximum high of yesterday. And then it came back to test the region. So you can see that here in the 1 minute chart. So that's basically what's happening with that at the moment. You can also see here on the 15 minutes that it went, grabbed the liquidity and came back below. So the price came back inside of the structure. What we want to see is this price actually breaking through that maximum high once again? And then we will have some good movements there for the price. I'm so sorry about my voice today. Not one of the best, I know, but we are gonna try to make this thing work as it is, okay? I may be a little bit quieter than usual. Let me just make sure that we are transmitting fine. Okay, so this is pretty much us for the daily chart. Um, yeah, we are. Okay. So this is us for the daily chart, basically. We've got support and resistance for the price at the moment. Price is at a resistance point. We do know that we had a grab of um, liquidity, but then price came back inside the structure. Let's go over to our 1 hour chart. On the 1 hour chart, we can see here the liquidity grab it did. Okay, so we can see it quite clear here. You can also see the first point here of resistance, which is that trigger candle on the daily. It's right there. The movement from yesterday, it came here to the trigger candle 106, okay? And that candle 106 held that price in that region. So it didn't allow it to go below that. I was waiting for it to actually grab the liquidity below as well, okay? So I was hoping that it would grab this liquidity below here, but it didn't. It just came straight up, failing a pullback that it had confirmed below. So failed the pullback and just continued on its way up. Um, Over here, what do we have here on our 1 hour chart? We have got this trigger candle 51 that stopped that price in there. Okay, stop the price on its tracks right there. So trigger candle 51 is something for us to keep an eye out, for. Okay, but we know that. We know that that's there. Let me just take this out like this. Have a look at this price structure. Price going down. In between here and here. And exactly that 50. Okay. So if I put this over here, which is the maximum high of that movement, let me see what that gives us in here. Because that may give us a good support as well. See, we got support here to the left on the region of this 50%. We have support here to the left on that 50%, and we have resistance. So if the price breaks through this 50, it would give us a good support once again. So this is what I'm trying to track here to see if it is exactly what I'm thinking about. We do have a short, trend line going in this direction, but that's not exactly what I wanted it to look like. So I'm gonna leave that at the moment. we may have, this is quite far away. Just a little bit far away, but that may still happen that way. Let me have a look at this. Okay, so let's go over to the 15 minutes. Here on our 1 hour chart, we know that we are above all 50% for the last past few days. On the macro movement, we are at 50% at the moment. Just trying to confirm that pull back to the highs after grabbing the liquidity and bringing it back inside of the movement. On the 5 minutes, it hasn't confirmed it either. So without confirmation, I'm not jumping into a trade right there. Let me just have a look at 1 minute here, see where is this 50. So it's breaking through right now. Cool. Let's see how that's going to close, if to see if it's going to confirm or not. There's about a minute to go. So in here, we had a trend line going up here, but then this movement actually broke through it. On the 5 minutes, we can see that there was a liquidity grab, but then in here, price did not come back inside of the structure, which is really good. It shows us that this is a healthy movement. Now, just wanted price to close in a region where we can actually buy with quite ease. It's already reaching the trigger candle on 67. So that price might be stopped by that trigger candle. So I can't really buy in that region right now. And I'm looking for some of their bits and pieces. You can see here in 1 minute where price reaches that trigger candle on the 5 minutes, then it basically stops. It doesn't continue breaking through. Okay, closing in above the last candle. And now it's trying to do it. Let's see how far down can 173 is actually willing to go. If it's gonna come test these trigger candles or the 50% of 172. Tested this 50. On the 15 minutes, we are above that trigger. We are at a maximum high at the moment. We just broke through the maximum high of yesterday, which is this red line here. It has tested it for support. So I'm willing to put a buy to go long here. Um, my stop is actually about 1,000 points. So it's not a cheap stop, okay? Um, it's not a cheap one. But everything of the confluences tells me that this price should be going up. It's just gonna have to make a pullback because of that trigger candle. So price is gonna have to make a small pullback before it actually comes and breaks through that. On the 15 minutes, we can see the price is above that trigger candle. So let's see how far back it makes this pullback here. I was hoping that it would test this trigger candle to the left and then come back. So if it does that, then it's perfect because it would be proving us that we have got support in this region here and you can't break through those trigger candles. At the moment, it hasn't got as far as that, just came around to the 50%. All that's there. Let me have a look at this. We still have got a bit of space into our final target. That's 4654. The only issue we have at the moment is that we've got this trigger candle here at 4586, who has been holding the price, okay? That candle is who actually got that price in there. So it might take a while, it might make a pullback. If it can't go up right now, it's going to have to come below here to the region of the 53 to grab liquidity. So the idea is to, if we are going to get a stop, it must be a very short stop, okay? So we don't want to be holding very long stops in this region. There's quite a bit of liquidity to the left. So we got liquidity is still up here and liquidity up here. That could accelerate this price quite well. We do have to be a little bit careful because normally when the price goes up during the opening of the Asian market, sometimes the American market will come and push the price down. We'll do the opposite, um, simply because of all the liquidity that has been generated. So that can happen as well. So every time we get into trades in regions like this, we gotta be quite careful about it. It's just so we are not found with our pants in our hands, right? So now candle has come down. Should test those trigger candles below. I can actually lower my entry point now. It has tested the trigger candles. Let's see if it tests a bit more. It did not break through the 50% of the last of candle 172. Now when it comes to stop these guys here and to get to that trigger candle, that would give us basically about, I think about 200 points, 300 points. Yeah, basically about 400 points to the trigger candle. So if it does come back, then it should have grabbed liquidity to actually break through that trigger candle there. If it doesn't, we have shorted our stop in 400 points. Okay, we are now on the trade. Let's see if candle 174 will manage to stop these guys here. It is a confirmed pullback to the highs, okay, of the structure. So they've got to at least renew that maximum high in there and hopefully break through that trigger candle 167. Come on, buddy. Let's go. It has now done its obligations as a pullback on the 1 minute. Let me check, just check, make sure. Yes, it has renewed. So let's see if it's going to be able to continue its movement up. It did not close above the last candle's the structure's high here. It did close above the last candle's high. So let's see how price will react in this region here. I'm gonna put my price around here, but if the price does muck around this region quite a bit, then I'm not gonna hold this trade until there. It really depends on how well it's going to react. Okay. So we have candle 869 testing the trigger candle below. Candle 870, just testing down at the moment. So it didn't close, candle 174 didn't close so well because we were hoping that it would actually break through the higher the structure. It actually renewed the price, so it has completed its obligations of pullback in the structure at the moment. So we can't say that it's a failed pullback because it's not. But let's see if buyers push this price through. Cool. So it has moved 500 points. I'm going to put my price on break even. On the 1 minute, I've got very big push from sellers. So price may come back and take us on our break even. But I do have to protect it now simply because it touched that trigger candle and it retracted quite fast. Okay, so I'm going to see what the 1 minute will do. So for me, break even here, since I'm buying just below a trigger candle, um, it's actually not bad. Keep an eye out on this 1 minute. So, so when we're trading as traders, we normally we take risk, okay? So we take risk every day on the market. But why do I protect it? Because after the gold moves 400 to 500 points, sometimes it will come to correct, especially when you're buying in structures like this, where you're just in the face of a trigger candle. Price may retract quite quickly and go the other way. We do know that we have a support below, but if price fights through and can't break through a trigger candle, normally it has to come back below the last point. So it has tested the trigger candle to the left already. So for the price to come back now, it would have to come back all the way down here, which would mean 1,000 points of stop. If it does come back below here, we're talking about basically 2,000 points. So we don't want to get a stop that long um, if the movement is going to be stuck around this trigger candle. Because if it takes us out on a break even and it does come back and confirms a pullback to the highs again, we can buy it down here, right? So there's no point of risking so many points up there if price is not going to continue. Now, on the 1 minute, trigger candle 831 has been holding this price here, so it's fighting through to see if it's going to be able to break through, but it's looking a little bit difficult for the price. What I'll do, let's see if 874 will be able to go through and renew that high. So candle 873 has confirmed pullback to the highs here. The obligation for candle 874 is actually to renew 870's high. But if it does muck around in that area and does not renew it or break through that trigger candle, um, we might be looking at putting these 600 points in our pockets and looking for a better trade um, when it designs ones for us. Okay, so candle 176, candle 175 did break through the trigger candle. Candle 176 has to test down. So it has done a small test. Let's see if that's enough for it to continue on its way up. I will put my break even right here. So if it does come back to test these trigger candles, it's not gonna get my break even. Come on, man. Just stop those guys and let's go. Yeah, too many dojis. With too many dojis, we've got a little bit of a price uncertainty, right? So we got buyers trying to push it up and sellers trying to push it down. Um, when we have market uncertainty, then when you are in a trade, that's not very good. Okay. Oh, that's nice. 876 pushing through. Let's see if it's going to continue. If price does come back inside of the structure, um, I'm gonna take off my trade, okay? Okay, didn't come back just yet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put my stop right there. So I'll get out of this trade if I have 500 points, just in case price does come back inside of the structure. Because since it broke through, the obligation of that price is actually to continue on its way up, not come back down to the minimums of this one. Because if it does, all it's doing is grabbing its inefficiency that it was generated. So that's not very good. As we can see on the 5 minutes, we are in a region of maximum high. So this price can actually use this resistance here just to stay below. So sellers can do that. So it's better to have 500 points in our pocket than nothing at all. Big push from buyers. So just see that candle 877, it came back clearing the inefficiency generated by candle 876. And now candle 878 cleared all the inefficiency out of candle 877. And sellers still pushed that price through. So there is a very big indecision in this market here. And it does feel like the sellers are going to win it. Okay, so got out of it with 600 points. We will wait for the next movement. A lot of pressure from sellers at this stage. So we made that little bit, 600 points is a little bit of a buffer. So when we get later on into better trades, we have that little buffer um, just to continue and get on with other trades. Okay. We always have our risk management in place. So that gives us a little bit of fed to get into trades that maybe has a bigger stop. Okay. So that's why we do that like that, especially in the early mornings. Okay. For my phone, and I have no idea where my phone is. Guys, bear with me for 1 second. I do need my phone. Okay, so candle 879 came back inside um, of the structure. Um, candle 176 did not close above candle 175's high, which means that the resistance in there is very strong. Just bear with me for 1 second. All right, guys. We're back. So you can see that price in there. Um, it's very consolidated in that region. Let's see how that's going to play out. Getting the 177 breaking through at the moment. Continuing on its way high. So it's just trying to generate liquidity above at the moment. Let's see how can the 177 will close. I'm pricing the 1 minute. You can see that it doesn't have much liquidity, so it's just trying to generate liquidity, and then comes back and stops the price, and then generates liquidity, comes back, stops the price. So we can see that there's not a lot of liquidity in the market at the moment. Okay, so candle 176 haven't managed to close above candle 176 high as well. So at the moment we've got the same issue. Um, it is going to have to grab liquidity below. Candle 178 coming back down. The 178 coming down, breaking through the structure, trying to get the stops from those guys below. Now, candle 178 can come as down as far as just 1 second, guys. The gold is not the only market with without liquidity at the moment. Brazilian market has gone on my take about 7 times already, and it hasn't paid. So, I'm looking to get out of this trade before it's too late. It has touched my take profit now for about 15 times with no liquidity to pay. Unbelievable. Let's see how this will play out. Okay, cool. So Candle 178 came and did a liquidity grab here below the 1 minute. But on the 5 minutes, it closed with a very big push from buyers here, which means that we still have buyers in the structure. Candle, trigger candle 173 did hold the price at this stage, but we can see that it's trying to make a pullback to see if it can continue its movement to the highs. It is a region that's very fought by buyers and sellers at the moment. So let's see how this thing is going to work. All right, candle 179 coming down once again on the 15 minutes. Candle 60 can come as far as candle 57. Okay, so it can come around there to see if it can find support for that price. But you don't want to be seeing it go way more than that. As we said before, we are still waiting for this price up at the region of 4586. We managed to have a small trade of about 600 points, which was quite good. We've got this trend line here going up. Let's see if price stays above it. And 179 being pushed by buyers once again. So now let's have a look at the structure. So if we get our Fibo from there to here, we can see that price is almost at the 50% of this structure here. So now candle 180 opened up just above those trigger candles, just on our short, on our trend line. Let's see how it's going to work. Candle 180 is pushing up. Now we can see here on the 1 minute, we have a very healthy movement. Onto this 50%, price has not managed to renew the maximum high just yet. But as I said, if price can't break through, it's going to have to make a pullback. This is what it's trying to do around here on the 50% at the moment. And guys, we've got 4 minutes to go before I actually have to go and trade with my students. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to leave you guys with this. We have got this trigger candle here at the region of the 486, 4586, okay? This is the chart of 15 minutes. If this price cannot break through that trigger candle, it's going to have to come down to the region below candle 57. Now, as I said in the beginning of the live, it could happen that on the opening of the American market, which is in about half an hour, it may come back to grab this liquidity that was generated throughout the night, okay, by the Asian market. So this could happen quite easily. So just be careful with that. If price does not manage to break through this here, it surely is going to come back inside the structure to stop these guys, okay? keep an eye out for the support here, which is this 50%. You can even use this one for the support. If it does break through below this 50%, you've got good shorts here until 50% of the day, okay? Because there's a lot of liquidity below here, below this region. So there's quite a bit of liquidity below here until the 50%. If price does break through this trigger candle, then you have our last target of the daily chart. Our last target is here, okay? So it's in the region of the 4654. That's the last target of that pullback. So if you get really good buying options, even if the market comes here, grab this liquidity and comes back up above this 50%, this would be a really good buying point because then it would have mean that it grabbed the liquidity below and now it has enough liquidity to break through this trigger candle and continue on its way up until about this region, okay? So this is pretty much it for today. I would like to say thank you for you guys that has stayed with us for this long. Okay, it's really awesome to have you guys here with me, and I really enjoy doing this every morning with you guys, and so we can learn together and work together on our trades. All right. Um, so just be careful with the opening of the American market, as I said. Pay attention to the regions of the gold here on the 15 minutes. So I'm just, where's my zigzag? So basically, if price does come below this 50%, you have good shorting options until about 50% of the day, okay? And then it may come back up to try to break through that trigger candle. Or if price does break through this trigger candle, you have good options of going into that target there. All right, I don't see the price melting till minimals today, but that could happen as well. All right, it's just to keep it out there. Guys, thank you very much. Once again, this is the trading cage, and this is where we beat the gold. I hope you have a lovely day. Just be careful around that region there of that trigger candle. Sellers are really pushing through, not to allow buyers to get through. But then again, big players, they'll put the price where they actually need it. Okay. All right, guys. I'll catch you soon. Have an awesome day.